Shop smart, shop S-smart.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome
to another episode of New Book Who Dis. I'm host DeathMetalHero, and with me is a longtime friend of the channel and a good friend of mine, Mr. MAD RUTH, MAD RUTH Publications. What's going on, brother? How you?
Oh, doing great, doing awesome. Summer's here.
Awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, off to a good start, man. It looks like, you know, it's honestly been rather enjoyable weather here. You know, knock on wood. I'm down in Florida, so I mean the weather's gonna turn at some point. It always does. But yeah, no, it's been all right so far. I was enjoying the weather up in South Carolina a little better. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, had to come back down here to Florida to take care of some shit. So it happens. Yeah. So what's going on in your neck of the woods, man? How's things?
You know, as a creator, just trying to keep the ball rolling. You know, as you know, I worked on Soul Tax starting back when COVID started, like March 2020, and it took me about 3 years to put that book together. You know, learning all the ins and outs of how to make a comic book, as it's my first project, and then you know, after getting through the printing and the fulfillment and getting in backers' hands, it's like, what do me and my artists do now? And we're like, hey, let's just keep going. So
that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Well, we got this finished. What do we do now? Right. Well, I don't know. We could keep going. Okay. I mean, if you got more story to tell, you know, the audience is there, obviously. Yeah. Speaking of the audience, we got a chat to say hello to. We had a Dan Plegel Boobdan art. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Hands down, one of the best books. I think it's even better than any of the books being done by any of the kings. The art on this book is phenomenal, friends. I agree. The artwork on this book is phenomenal. It's a damn fine-looking book, man. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We got this crazy person in the chat here with this fun My Comics logo. And then we got this beautiful lady. Skull, beautiful. Thank you for coming to hang out. I appreciate you being here. Yep. I went to go visit her in South Carolina. And
nice.
Yeah, the weather was great up there. It was a fantastic visit. Best vacation I've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah. Got American Comics. What's up, man? Welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out. Let's see, and we got a Citizen Ronin. Hail, Citizen Ronin. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Dr. Ben. Hell yeah. Good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. So this is a bit of a different new book, Who Dis, because I've actually gotten this book. You know, Craig was gracious enough to send me the book, and I got a chance to read it, and it is really good, man. I very much enjoyed the story. I mean, anybody that's a big fan of like sci-fi is going to dig this. But tell us a little bit about what the story means to you for those that are not familiar. Like, what was the, I guess, inspiration for it? What's up, Hades Maid? And a Fanta. Awesome. Hello, Fanta.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know, but I spent 26 years in the military, retired about a year ago. So going all the way back to like 2005, when George Lucas said there weren't going to be any more Star Wars movies, that already kicked off my, you know, there's going to be a gap in science fiction, and somebody else should try to create something to fill that void. And you know, in the military, you got a lot of idle time. You know, you have a lot of downtime, sit around and not doing very much. So with my idle time, this was my escapism for basically my entire military career, is this universe, this Soul Tack, with the intent that I was going to take up writing when I retired. That's just been my next goal. My next dream was to take up writing. So I spent about 15 years just dreaming up this concept of the story like a fly on the wall for if I could imagine where humanity was in 6,000 years, What
Yeah.
would the circumstances of it be like? The solar system? How would people be?
Sure.
How would society change? This is just kind of things you trip out on when you're not on drugs, but you got a lot of idle time.
Well, when you indulge your imagination, man,
Right. Yeah.
get creative. That's what the imagination is for, to travel to different lands, distant worlds.
So always being a fan of the hero's journey. I mean, I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. I'm sure most people who know me know that. So
Sure.
very much, fast forwarding to everything
Stuff in your
happening.
background does not tell me that at all, sir. I mean, I never would have guessed.
Yeah. So fast forwarding to Disney's acquisition of Star Wars, I was one of the bigger proponents that, hey, at least it's something. At least they're making content. And then, everyone very disappointed in it. So
I you know what? Rogue One was fun. I enjoyed Rogue One. And I tolerate Solo. Everything else I disavow. I mean, The Mandalorian is fun as well. I mean, that's kind of like a nice, what happens to the Empire, after the Empire has been crushed. But the Star Wars trilogy, like the Star Wars story, ends at Jedi. Unless you want to go with the EU books.
Right. Well, which I do, which I was a fan of. I love Heir to the Empire, and I have all the comics and the novelizations as well. But so just with that, I decided just to channel that not say negative energy, but as a fan, as a disenfranchised fan, like what can you do with that energy? You can either sit back and you can complain online all day, or you can put your money where your mouth is and try to create something yourself that proves that
make something. Yep.
Yeah. So, given that, and then COVID 2020, all of a sudden I had all this idle time working from home, what a lot of people did. And that's just, all the stars aligned, found Comixgate, found the opportunity. I said, you know what, I'm going to take my shot and I'm going to create my own book. So I spent 2018, 2019 researching how to make a comic book. So it's not that I just jumped into it. I read how to draw comics the Marvel way. How to Make Comics by Scott McCloud.
Another great book.
Books. Yeah, on writing. I think I discussed that as well. So I did a lot of reading. Ethan's channel, Dan Fraga as well, studying their streams when
this is another good
early
one.
Streams
by Scott McCloud. Understanding Comics. Start with that one and then go. This is the one that he wrote after that. This is another good one. Yeah.
Nice. I'll write that down.
Yeah.
But so and I mean, just learning the ins and outs of how to make a comic book at the same time of telling a story that I've been developing for 15 years, and lo and behold, that's what 3 years worth of effort looks like. So,
and see, this is the 3 years of consistent effort. Like putting rubber to road, pedal to pavement, as it were. What's up, good stuff? Good to see you, man. Hades Consumer says, what are you talking about? Disney Star Wars is the best Star Wars, 9 out of 10. Feminists disagree. Jesus. Yeah, no, I disavow all of it. I just disavow all of it. Yeah. No, sad. I would I'll stick with like, Lucasfilm before it got sold. Just like I will stick with like the first 10 years of the MCU. Everything after that, like Endgame was a lot more prophetic than they expected. I was, yeah. I mean, but this is what happens when you take people off of things that actually love them. You gotta have a passion for what you're writing, otherwise it's going to show through. Every single time.
It'll just become soap operas. So soap operas with intellectual properties for titles is all.
Well, it just. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, it's they're not really moving the story forward except for like drama wise. They're not doing any kind of superheroing. It seems. I mean, that's the way the comics are now. I mean, there's very little superheroing being done, and it's more standing around talking, drinking coffee, and having long-winded conversations where one person is usually lecturing another, and like these are terrible comics, like terrible. There's a scene in the what was it, the the Unlimited Carnage or whatever it was that that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman did, where Brock and Dylan are they're in a diner booth with Spider-Man and they're having a conversation. But Stegman is so good at what he does, the characters are emoting and acting, and it gets the gravitas of the scene across, and it's really well done. Most of these artists cannot do that. And, like him or hate him, Donnie can write a good scene with emotionally rooted characters that are good. And that whole scene was just great. It is a prime example of how to do scenes like that. Unfortunately, most of these comics are not able to do it. They can't pull it off, so it comes across as bland and boring.
Well, that's a good thing too. I mean, doing my bit of apprenticeship with doing the comic, as you know, Kurt Hathaway did my lettering, and one of the biggest piece of advice he gave me is always keep the action going. Always keep the action going. The whole concept of having a page turner is just that the reader cannot put the book down. And
absolutely
build that into the property. So I mean, once we get into, like you said, you had the book, we can discuss it. But I got a little bit of that from feedback where people said some parts of my book felt rushed. And it really is difficult because you know how much real estate you want to cover. You know how big this book is.
Yes.
You know what you want to tell, but you've only got so many pages to do it unless you want to add.
That's exactly it, man. That is exactly it.
Yeah.
You've only got so much room, and it's again, like him or hate him, Mark Waid said at one point that writing comics is like writing haiku. There's an art form to writing for comics and getting that pacing right. Getting those story beats down without things feeling rushed. And it takes work. It takes practice, man. But yeah, let me go ahead and switch my camera here, and we'll. As you guys can see, I have the book here. I'll go ahead and pop it open. But yeah, man, this was a lot of fun to read. I just sat down and read it all in one sitting.
Nice.
And I mean, it just the colors are spot on. The line work, and then I really like the blood and ink version. Like, that turned out incredible, dude. Like, it really did.
Yeah, that was just inspired by Frank Miller and 300 and the Spirit, and I just and everyone kept saying, you're gonna have to pay as much for a color book, and I'm like, that's all right. I just
Dude, it works. It really does, and it showcases the line art. It really showcases the line art. I love the tones in there as well. Yeah. So this is damn good book, dude. You should be very proud, especially this is your first book, and it came out fantastic.
Yeah.
I
owe a lot to my creative team. Can't take all the credit myself, but
right. He came up with the concept, but I mean, you had good people working with you. Hired good people. This part right here,
absolutely,
where he's like, yeah, you might want to strap in, and then he knows that he can't, so he just bangs him around the cabin in space. I mean, he made it difficult. He could have come along quietly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff. And the funny thing is like in this part right here in the blood and ink version, I didn't realize that he had hit one of them. But yeah, look at that, guys. Look at the line work.
And Gonzalo just loves working.
Yeah.
He's even doing his own independent project now that we work together. And, I'm not going to say he doesn't know how to do the sequentials, but he said he learned a lot about sequentials from me, which is such a compliment for my artist to say. Like, you learned about sequentials from me? Really? Okay. Like, you're just collaborating and sharing experiences. And I mean, I have been reading comics since 1985. So, but, so he's making his own book now. So it's like, okay. I keep telling him, you got to start streaming, Gonzalo.
Yeah, start building that audience. But you really the impacts. This stab here. Getting this dude getting shot in the leg. Like it really stands out. I'd really like right here. I didn't realize that this dude got hit. But just the little spots of blood here and there. You know, it made it fun, man. And again, this is definitely for, you know, those that appreciate seeing the black and white line work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a totally different experience, right? It's more blood, it's more grit and violent.
You know, oh yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. And you know, it's a testament to the artist that it stands on its own in black and white. Because a lot of times, you know, color. Okay, Drew Hayes created Poison Elves. He's one of my favorite artists. He's famous for saying that color allows bad artists to get away with bad art. I'm paraphrasing, and I butchered the quote horribly, but you know, colorists can hide bad art. You know, and this is great. You know, the color adds a lot to it, but the artwork by itself stands on its own.
Yeah, that's the way I felt too when I was making it. I didn't want to just color over all his line art, and it was an opportunity to present both books. It actually worked out really well because most people backed both books, the color and the line art. So it worked out really well.
I mean, you guys can see why. Look at how beautiful this line work is. You know, but at the same time, let me find this page in the other book. You know, but at the same time, you know, where are you? They're right there. Look at how awesome those colors are. Yeah. Like the colors turned out fantastic, man. So it's a beautiful looking book, you know. And I can tell that the story is only going to get, you know, it's only going to ramp up from here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, all the introductions are out of the way. You know, all the characters meeting each other and why these misfits all come together. Why are they all a band working together? Yeah, it was a lot to squeeze in. There's a lot to squeeze into 92 pages.
Well, see, and, you know, 92 pages sounds like a lot, you know. Oh, yeah, you know, 92 pages. That's damn near 100 pages, you know. That's a lot of pages. No, I know. When it comes to telling a story like this, especially if you got, like, an epic going on, yeah, you'd be surprised how quickly those pages get ed up, you know. Because movement, you know, I don't know. There's artistic tricks that you can use when storytelling to, you know, get movement across and to get the storytelling down. But still, you can't shortchange things. You know, there's got to be fluidity between the actions. You know, otherwise you get those jumps, those jarring jumps in, you know, visual logic, and it makes it hard to follow the story. I never had a problem following what was going on in the book. You know,
awesome.
I never had trouble. I never had trouble following the progression of pages. You know, yeah. So that's always a good thing. I mean, storytelling is crucial, man. You know,
but, I'm just happy everyone seems to love the book and everyone enjoys it. That's what makes it all worthwhile for me. Was, you know, this is something I sat on for 15 years, and it's because of the community. I said, hey, let's try it, and then you throw yourself out there, and you're like, you know, what are people going to say? But for the most part, everyone's very positive, which is just wonderful.
That's awesome, man, and they should be. You should be very proud. Like, this is first projects. Like, this is fantastic. I mean, just as a project, but I know that another project that I really enjoyed was Mavericks. You know, by Neff, and I think both you guys just fucking nailed it, man. You have clear vision of your world. I think is the thing that kind of connects the two of you guys in my mind, is that the worlds that I experienced in both of your books are fully formed. You know, you've lived and existed in that world in your head often, and you can tell. You know, it comes across. You know, when worlds don't feel fully lived in and they kind of feel half baked, you can also tell. You know, that's kind of a crucial thing to a good story. You can have like a good storyline, but you got to have that world that kind of keeps the character in line. You know, that they're existing in. Right. Otherwise, it comes across as flat and one dimensional, no matter how intricate the story may be. So. Yeah, so well done, sir. Well done. So this is part of the Arrow comics thing that you're doing.
Yeah. So I can try to go through this really quickly. Everything that happened. So obviously, I launched the campaign September of last year. I then went to a comic convention. I don't know if you heard that whole story, what happened, or if I went through all that.
Oh, yes, I did. But please feel free to reiterate for the audience so they know exactly what kind of dumb bullshit you've had to go through.
So I volunteered for 2 days at this Comic-Con, and you know what I mean? I ran the ticket sales, tried selling pops, went around to all the creators' tables, gave people washroom breaks, brought people coffee, gave people rides to and from the restaurant. They kept telling me I was the greatest. You're the greatest addition. You're like the MVP of this. Everybody loves you. And I just kept saying, I just want my own table. All I want is my own table and a chance to sell my book. And everything was going great for the last 2 hours. And then this local comic shop owner that owns the whole chain of comic books, he realized that was Comixgate. So he came up and pulled the whole, have you heard of Watergate? And I was like, what the hell are you talking? Obviously I knew he meant Comixgate, but so he went to the convention. The convention guy runs a convention. This guy's Comixgate. He's not welcome. And then they drafted the big letter denunciating me, and so I forwarded all that to Ethan because hey, why not?
Yeah, here you might get a kick out of this.
Right. And Ethan did a video on it, which was great. But then subsequently, right, so I'm banned now from all the local stores and all the local comic conventions because how dare you hang around, free thinkers and creative artists who just want to be uninhibited to express themselves and be left alone, right?
You don't think exactly how I think, so therefore you must be banned.
Right. But so that
it's like, the child's guide to online discourse. Everybody I don't like is literally Hitler.
Right.
Fucking grow up, children. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm Gen X. Like, how are you going to reform the way I think? I grew up in the 90s,
Right.
But so with that, then IGG shadow banned me and then started monkeying with my disbursement.
You don't fuck with the man's money.
Yeah, so I was like,
you don't fuck with anybody's money, actually.
Like, this book might not even get printed. What happens if all my backers get refunded? Like, I did all this for nothing, right? I was like, they almost had me crumpled into a ball. I'll admit, I was almost in the fetal position on the floor.
Well, but, they're trying to fuck with your dream, man.
But Luke Stone reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, I see what you're going through, and it's not right." He's like, "What can I do to help you? I'd like to help you out, and I'll take you under Arrow Comics. If you can show me the book." I showed it to Randy. Randy loved it, just like you did. Said, "Yeah, man, like if you want to come Arrow Comics." I said, "Well, I'd love to split it into floppies." And then obviously me and Luke discussed logistics. Once he told me how much he could print my book for, I was already in because he saved me like a lot of money. Like,
excellent. I like to hear that.
Thousands of dollars. Like,
yeah.
So, and the only
That's
caveat
fantastic, man.
He's like, "Well, I'd like you to make the next book at least." And I said, "You know what? You're saving me enough to make the next book." And I said it too. I said when I crowdfunded this, that any money I made, I was going to put into the next book. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. And at the back of this, like, this is how much I'm headstrong. At the back of this, it says "to be continued" right there. Well, I can't put "to be continued" and then not.
And then not do it. Yeah, you better continue it. Shit, people are gonna come after you.
Right. So so Luke took care of. It's really cool. I took care of Canadian distribution. Luke took care of U.S. and international distribution, which also saved money on fulfillment. And this wasn't pre-planned. Like, this is just things falling into place after the fact, right? And then so with the money he saved me, me and Gonzalo said, "Hey, let's keep going. Let's make the next 32-page book. Why not?"
Yes.
Keep
absolutely going. Keep it. Now, how long is the story in your mind? Like, how many if you're going to do like another, like, say 92 page volume?
I see it as 9 single issues or 3 volumes.
Oh, okay. All right.
So 96, 96, 96. I'm pretty sure it's just like again, Star Wars fan. It's just like, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi, so to speak, right? That's the whole vision in my head. Yeah. So, although the story isn't, in any way, it's got nothing to do with Star Wars. It's a hero's journey all in itself, but it's more about Earth, 6,000 years in the future in our solar system. Yeah. And, forces outside of our solar system and what's going on with aliens and the universe as a whole and the galaxy.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it's a little closer to home than Star Wars, but definitely still space epic. Haven't seen any evidence of space wizards yet, but you never know. It's a big universe out there. It's a big universe.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of really cool characters in here. I love the flying genetically or cybernetically modified ferrets. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Earl and Junk and Earl. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun, man. You know, how did you come up with those two little characters?
So again, just imagining that humans would be able to mess with DNA and cybernetics and stuff like that, and
Junk and Earl.
Like, you need to bounce dialogue off, like otherwise it's just somebody talking in their own head and walking around, right?
Right.
And that whole like supposition all the time. I don't want that. I need characters talking to characters, and I just envision, modifying these flying ferrets that like he wears as like a fur jacket, and they sort of just climb around on him, and when shit starts happening, they just launch themselves off of him, and they just start tearing people apart as he's shooting. I just
clawing out eyes, tearing up faces. Yeah, they're vicious little bastards when they need to be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then it gives him sort of comedic relief, and then someone to talk off, and
okay. Just expanding out the characters, and you gave a unique a couple of unique little characters to add to him. I mean, he's a pretty unique design for him. I don't know, all the characters are really well done, man. I enjoyed this book quite a bit.
Thank you.
So you're on Fund My Comic. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the campaign here. So tell me what.
I'm trying to hit that 10K.
Yeah.
Every artist wants to hit that 10K. It's so hard to get there, right? So it says 6,100. I brought over how much money I raised on Indiegogo because the campaign shut down. It's closed. This is everything that I've raised on Soltac to date.
So far. Yeah.
Independent sales to like friends and family, right? Not counting
sure.
those in the films. But so yeah, I'm 3,900 away from hitting 10K, which like is really exciting.
Yeah.
And then so
closing in.
Yeah, so I brought over from the Indiegogo, I brought over the 2 graphic novels, the Betrayal graphic novel, as well as the line art book.
Yeah.
And those fulfill every 5 days. But here's the 2 biggest deals with this campaign. So that you see on the screen now, I brought that as cheap as me and Luke could possibly do it. So it's literally $12 for the book, $8 for shipping. So it's $20 for a 32-page comic. That's
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And these are saddle stitched, just like regular comics.
Yeah. So like I split it already into periodicals. So Arrow Comics is pushing these on their Arrow store and in bundles.
That's awesome. Hang on. Let me full screen you so people can see that. Where's my mouse? There it is. All right.
And we even get better at the inner covers, like the stuff that excites me, right? Like even our inner graphics are getting better over here.
Yeah, man.
So yeah. So we split it into 3 floppies like this.
Yeah.
And that way I'm taking smaller bites out of the story instead of trying to hammer out 92 pages. It's only 32 pages at a time, right?
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, Brian Pulido, that's what he's done, since the beginning with Coffin Comics. He put a 48-page, prestige format book out with all the different, add-ons and stretch goals and tchotchkes and all that fun stuff. And then he breaks it into 2 and puts it out through previews, so it goes into comic shops and it gets that other audience. So doing single issues, it's kind of reversed because they used to do the single issues and then they collect them into a trade. Now we do a trade, do the whole story. And then if people want the single issues, or if people, are shopping in a comic shop, or whatever, people still like their floppies.
Yes.
They will always like the floppies. That's where you cater to the collector's market.
yeah. So,
By the way, those covers look great, man. You got some great imagery for floppy covers, I gotta say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a good choice for the cover of issue 1. That's a good image. I like that one.
What people don't know, but that's the very first image ever drawn for my universe.
Really?
That was Gonzalo's me hiring him drawing.
Oh, that's badass, dude. I love it.
I was like, okay, yeah, we can work together. So yeah,
Yep, that totally works. You're hired.
So there's a bit of history with that. So yeah,
that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they can get now. Well, they're going to be able to get all 4 issues on this campaign.
Yeah. So the 2 biggest deals are obviously if somebody already has the 92-page graphic novel, you can get the continuation just for $20. They're obviously if they just want, if you go the next tier, sorry.
Yeah.
If you go to the next one, if they just want the graphic novel for now,
Yeah.
it ships every 5 days, that book. So it gets back 5 days from now. It's on the way. So
It is a beautiful book.
Yeah.
So you won't be disappointed.
And then after that, so that's the next biggest tier there that also has a coupon code that you can enter. So this won't fulfill until March of next year. I know it says December in there. We started 3 months late.
Right.
Like complications, fund my comic didn't come up. I didn't raise as much money. You know those sorts of things, right? Printing took another 2 months longer than I thought. It's just those delays you can't predict. But
Yeah.
that will fulfill in March. And then, so basically you're getting 32 page. You're getting like 128 pages for $30. But if you put on coupon code beta 2023 into that particular one, it takes 20% off.
Wow.
So you get all 4 books for like, I don't know, like $25 plus $10 shipping, like $35, I think.
That's great, man.
Yeah. So I've done everything I can for just to encourage people, because I know like everyone's strapped for money. There's so many options out there. Like, what can I do to entice people to, back the book? And I just want to keep going. So, yeah.
Heck yeah, man. And giving people value for money, that's a good way to get people to come back and be able to keep going.
Yeah. So these here color pages that are being cycled through, those are all from the original book, the 92-page book. Obviously, the lettering's done, the coloring's done, everything. So there's a tier for 35. I think the coupon code's on that one as well. So you could get.
Oh, nice.
So you can get the 92-page book and the extension. Anyone that backed the two people who backed it, I already shipped them their 92-page books, and then I just put notes on my file that I got to give them the Arise book a year from now. I didn't want to make them sit there and wait a year for their graphic novel. So if anyone does back that, I will also just ship out the graphic novel in 5 days, and then I'll ship the I'll ship issue 4 when it's ready.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, as long as you've got the thing, that's giving the customer, what they paid for, so they can have a little taste of the world, get to dive in, and then that way they can get excited about, the next part coming out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then obviously I'm part of Arrow Comics, so every campaign has these Arrow Comics bundles in it, where it's creators supporting creators. So there you have Arrow Bundle 2, which is the one I always love to promote. It's got The Fool in there. It's got my first periodical in there, HeroBot 02, Revolt 2, which is a collection of creators, Hybrids 2 by Luke Stone, and then Chrome Dog 1. All those books are in that bundle for $40.
That's a hell of a bundle for $40. Holy crap. A lot of great stuff in that bundle.
Yeah. And then the last remnants of that line art book, there aren't very many of that left. And that was a Mad Ruth Comics property before I went to Arrow, so it's still got my old comics imprint on it. But once those are gone, that book's. I really like the front cover in there because it's only got like credits for 4 people in it.
Yep.
So it's really tight.
Yep.
So
concise.
Yeah. But yeah, that's very limited print run. I think we did less than 200 of that book. So.
That's awesome, man. So, it turned out gorgeous. Yeah. Like it really did.
And I won't reprint that book again. So, and then you're seeing now in the art, I keep dropping pages. I gotta stop dropping every page in, but I dropped issue 4, and then you get 4 pages of line art that me and Gonzalo. So to give you an idea.
Look at that!
So if you remembered the first story, you'll notice already, like it's now tying into the mission that went wrong, the one that broke the friendship. That like, don't talk to me again. That mission was horrible. So
okay, so we get a little bit of a flashback and we find out exactly what went wrong.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. These pages are great, dude. Yeah, great, just beautiful line work. Beautiful line work.
And we're just
you guys definitely knocked it out of the park with those. You guys should definitely be proud of it, and I look forward to seeing what's next, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's just exciting. I just love it. I love finally telling the story. It's something I dreamed up. I never thought I would accomplish, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, here I am. I'm retired. Having fun.
Just never let go of those dreams, man. Always hold on to them. Keep going. Never know when they might come true.
Yeah, but I do realize though, like I like to learn things the hard way.
Yeah.
it definitely is important to build that audience for yourself.
Yes.
So I have been trying to make a YouTube channel with other creators. I've been feeling people out for the past 6 months, just trying to find someone I gel with.
Yeah.
So people don't realize what happens behind the scenes, right? Like you'll try rehearsing and just for whatever reasons you don't get along or it's just not working or you don't mesh.
Right.
But what I'm excited is I think in July, I'm starting my own show on Fridays called the Friday Nights.
Yeah.
And we're trying to squeeze in between, all the major shows on Fridays. It's going to be myself, Jason Sandberg from Jupiter. I don't know if you had him on.
No.
Chris Faction, he does all the those polls on Twitter, which competing characters. He's
okay, yeah.
That. He's got his own book called Nano 13 that he's coming out with. So basically,
Nice.
4 of us have been practicing doing a straight 1 hour show, basically talk show format, but keeping it to an hour, just hitting all the bullets for the week, what's new, what's exciting. So people could just tune in for 1 hour and tune out. And so I realize I've got to create the audience. You have to put as much attention into audience building as you do to the comic.
Well, yeah, you gotta connect with your audience. You gotta make content that you would watch. Make content that you would watch, something that you would be interested in, and you'll find that audience as well. Yeah. It's the same thing about making the book. You made a book that you would read.
Right. It's the whole what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So it's like, do I build the audience or do I make the comic book? Like I'm getting closer to 50. I'm running out of time. So so at least I was like, okay, I'm gonna at least make the book, see what everyone thinks of the book. If everyone likes the book, then I'll build the audience. But yeah, definitely they both require equal amount of attention, and I do know that. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you live, you learn.
Yeah.
File 13 says, "Good to see you streaming."
Yeah. Hell.
King Link says that's what he's doing with the Neon Revenant. 3 volumes, 3 books per volume, 50+ pages per book. Very cool, man. Very cool. It's a good way to do it. All right, so you got the other $50 bundle here. It's the other Arrow bundle. You get Hybrids #1 in that. Ooh, shit.
Since Sin Killer 1/2 is an incredible book by Marv V. Only
Death. Is that Only Death Can Save Us?
Yep.
Nice. Oh man, this is the bundle. This is the bundle to get right here.
Riff Riders is in there. Revolt 1 and Calico and Paragon 1.
There's all kinds of shit, man. I mean, you all might want to get both bundles.
So I've been trying to coax.
A lot of good books there.
Like Luke Stone is so busy. Like I don't know how he does it. So now he's into distribution. He's into a crowdfunding
I saw
site.
that,
He's
man.
doing hybrids. He's into Arrow. But I keep saying we need an Arrow campaign on Fund My Comic because we've got the shopping cart now. So it's like if you just create an Arrow campaign, people can just go in and they can just literally grab this book, and everything under the Arrow banner should be in there. They will get around to it eventually. I just don't know when.
Right. Well, I mean, there's only so many things you can juggle all at once,
Yeah.
There's only so many hours in the day, and one must eat and sleep every now and then.
Right.
Maybe take in a picture show every now and then and relax. Read a comic book or two. I've been trying to. I'm working on a project, and I've been working on pages and stuff like that. So I mean, not that I wasn't before, but now like I'm actually getting paid to do something, so it's fun. But I'm trying to read more. So I was so happy when you were like, yeah, would you like to read it? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'd like to read it, man. It's a great looking book. And it's been great just, reading more comics. Yeah. Inkspots and I did Do You Even Read for the Pro, and that was a hell of a lot of fun to go through. I really like that book. But, it's just I'm trying to make more time to read comics because I feel like if we're going to make good comics, we need to know what's out there, and we need to read good and bad. So we know what's good and we know what's bad. It's
definitely a step that we're missing. We're really good at launching. We're really good at crowdfunding. We're really good at getting the books out there. But then it just seems they just disappear and go in the box, and then no one talks about them. It's just a missed opportunity. Like, how was the book? How was the story?
Yeah.
So
I mean, and that's the only way we get better is with with constructive criticism.
Yep.
You know, we can't be afraid to have a little bit of criticism about, you know, story structure or, you know, the way something looks. I mean, I was a graphic designer for, I mean, I still do graphic design work, but I was a designer for a long time. And, you know, you can't get upset if somebody says the client says they don't like, you know, what you produced. You know, you gotta fix it. You got to keep working on it until they, you know, until they're happy with something. And, you know, you pull your hair out trying to make a client happy. But, you know, it's got to be done because that's what you do. You know, you got to make the client happy.
No, I've been lucky so far. Like Aldous reached out, and I think I went on his show, and he gave me really good feedback. Arvid, me and him got together and streamed, and he gave me really good
great. Arvid's
feedback.
Great. Yeah,
really, really good. They took the time, and I just appreciate that, taking the time to give me the feedback. And you can tell everyone's always so worried, Like they're worried to give you feedback. Being in the military, like. Most of my best learning is from my biggest mistakes. Most of my best learning is from the stuff I did wrong. So thank God that at least instilled in me the ability to take criticism and take critique. And I just appreciate if somebody's taking the time to, you know what I mean, read my book and explore my book. Like, tell me what you think of it. Tell me what you feel.
Give me an honest opinion.
You know.
No, I agree, man. I agree. Honest feedback is a rare thing to come by. And when I was going to school for design, like that was one of the things that they drilled into our heads is like, no, we're not here to pat everybody on the back. We're not here to, you know, say this is great and not give anything. Like, pick it apart, tear it apart. You know, don't be mean, but, you know, tell me what doesn't work, you know, and have a fucking reason why. Don't just say something doesn't work and then don't have any way to explain it. You know, if you're going to make a criticism, be able to tell them how it doesn't work and how to possibly fix it. Yeah. That's what constructive criticism is. Right. Yeah. You know, otherwise it's just being a dick.
Yeah. A point to sustain and point to improve. Yeah. What you didn't like, and then how would you fix it, or how would you go about it differently? Yeah. Exactly. Everyone could sit back and point fingers.
Sure.
You know, that's the easy thing to do, but the hard points. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and see, this is also where a good editor comes in. You know, a good editor is worth their weight in gold. I have always said that. You know, because a good editor is going to see what's presented in the story that you're making, and then will polish that up so it, you know, chip away certain things that may not necessarily serve the story. You know, because when we're working on these things, you know, especially if it's a story that, you know, we've had in our heads for however long. You can't see the forest from the trees, you know what I mean? You need that set of outside eyes to look in and say, hey, this doesn't really make sense right here, or, you know, this doesn't fit. You know, you need that feedback, man. And,
so King Leak of Rock Hard's Comics just mentioned that Red Valkyrie is his editor. Well, coincidence enough, Red Valkyrie edited Soul Tack as well. So yeah, that was great between Shay and Sai, because they both read it at separate intervals. So not only did I get the Gmail content, points to improve and the change to the scripts and how they would rewrite it. And I mean, I am scatterbrained, so my thoughts really are discombobulated in my script.
Yeah.
They did so much to, like, as bad, like, I'm not going to say that my book is bad for the amount of word bubbles, but it's clear that I'm a writer, and I just go on and on and on and on and on. They cut out about half of my dialogue and trimmed it down and trimmed those bullets down. So if you can imagine how much bubbles are in there, just imagine another like 30% more bubbles on top of that ended up on the cutting room floor. Rightfully so, though.
So you were a little verbose at the beginning, huh?
But it was everything. About 95% of the recommendations by both Shay and Sai ended up in the book. The only minor nuances that were my own internal inside jokes, like stuff like that I kept. But it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Oh, that's genius. Why did I think of that? Right. So yeah.
Well, it's again, that's what good editors do. They help you see things. And give that outside perspective, so you can rethink what, you know, because these are pathways. You know, you go down these story pathways that you've been going, you know, down over and over again. You don't think outside of those pathways, and then somebody, you know, who's standing outside of that pathway points out this other, you know, clear pathway that doesn't, you know, go up and around and loop this way, and, you know, it helps to have that outside perspective so you can see the forest from the trees.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just the whole experience. I loved it. I love making
Awesome.
comics.
Well, it's the creative experience, man. You know, and having somebody to bounce ideas back and forth, and knowing that person is just wants to make, you know, your book the best it can be, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Carrie says, I think supporting a creator or author with how much you enjoyed their book makes a difference to them, but also if you love a book, you're going to tell others, and that also helps the creator or author. Absolutely. Word of mouth is still one of the best advertisements. Yes. Fully agree, Feline. Fully agree. Carrie says, I contacted the author to share how much I loved her book, and she offered me a signed copy of her new book when it comes out. Super excited for that. It's not a comic, but it still stands. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know, always, you know, being a creative, yeah, you got to have the confidence to put your story out there, and, you know, you're doing your thing and whatnot, but you know, sometimes it's nice to hear that people really enjoyed something that you did, you know, because you know, it's always that hair-raising moment when you're putting yourself on the line, you know, this creative endeavor. Will people like it? Will people get what I'm trying to go for here? You know, is it going to come across? You know, I mean, but that's part of it. That's part of the creative journey. That's part of putting something out into the universe. Is will it succeed? Will it fail? You know. Mm-hmm. And you know, hearing that people enjoyed it, hearing that it connected with people, that had an impact on people. I mean, that's where it's at, man. You know, that's how you knew you created something that resonated with people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just great. Just what a perfect community to find at the right time in my life. You know,
I mean, this whole scene, this indie comic scene over here is just, it's perfect for what we need right now. You know, it is the evolution of comics. Yeah. You know, and Carrie, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. There's going to be a very cool book that I'm working on for somebody else that comes out first, but I think you will enjoy that too.
What's the page count? Do you know yet, or?
You know what? I don't know what I can actually say about this book yet. You know, I'm working with I'm working with an editor and a writer, and yeah, I'm doing character turnarounds. I can tell you a little bit about Feline's seen the stuff that I've been working on, because, you know, of course she has. But I can tell you a little bit about it when we're off air. Okay. But yeah, it's fun, man. I'm enjoying the like you were. You enjoy the creative process. You know, you enjoy the back and forth, the bouncing of ideas and trying different things. Yep. You know,
bringing these things that are rattling around in your head into the physical world as best as possible. It's right in front of you now. Yeah, that's awesome.
And, you know, I'm on the opposite side. I'm translating, you know, like the editor on this book is doing great. Like they're helping the writer kind of condense the stuff down into, you know, a really cool, you know, like good paced story that makes sense, cohesive. That's the word I'm looking for. Condensing down, you know, the thoughts, because, you know, sometimes when you're writing stuff, just random thoughts here, there, and everywhere, and then bringing it down into a cohesive story that's going to be a lot of fun to read. A lot of fun to read.
I can't wait.
Thank you, Feline. I appreciate that. I'm pretty happy with it so far, and it's only going to get better. Yeah. Carrie says, "Do you supervise and critique, Feline?" Oh yes, yes indeed. She's definitely my second set of eyes. You know, I do something and like show it to her, and yeah, that looks a little funny right there. Is that a little big? Is it supposed to look like that? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe not. Yeah, so yeah, it helps to have a second set of eyes.
Or I would have things where I was like, okay, I don't think anyone else would see this. I'm overthinking this. The reader won't pick this up, and then the editor does pick that up. It's like, okay, you know what? It's more obvious than I thought it was. That. Yeah. Never underestimate that. Yeah. You know, it can come across a lot more obvious than you think. You know, it's you know, never underestimate the reader. I think that's one thing that a lot of these newer writers do. They underestimate the reader, and so they come across as like insulting to the intelligence. Right. They don't understand that we want to be fully immersed in escapism. Like when I go to watch a movie or I read a book, it's to escape my current reality. It's to explore something that's exciting and offers me, you know.
Hell yeah,
feeds all my senses and stuff. I don't want a retelling of like the news or what's going on in current life or current affairs. Or
take me to outer space, take me to distant fucking worlds, take me to an alternate reality fantasy, dark fantasy place. Let me go read about Conan in the land of Samaria.
Right.
Fucking let me read something that is out of the ordinary, and different and fun, and tell me a good story, entertain me. That's what I want. I want entertainment. I don't need to be lectured. I don't need to be talked down to. I don't need to be underestimated. Just tell me a good fucking story with fun characters that I can actually go on a journey with.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that really so hard? I mean, is it really that hard?
I think it is when people aren't passionate about it. Like you said, if
Yes.
people, if their heart isn't truly in it, they don't truly have the idea cemented, and everyone's not fully on board. Like you can see it when people are just going through the motions for a paycheck.
Yes, you can. Yeah. I love that I can ask you for an opinion, Feline. So thank you. And I do have a wonderful helper, Carrie. She's awesome. She's got good insights. And we do make a kick-ass team. Partners in crime. Damn right.
That's awesome.
Damn right. All right, so this bundle right here at the bottom, it's the last bundle, $70 Soul Tack, the Existential Bundle, all 6 books. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, so I will literally throw everything that exists in there. So it's got both 92-page graphic novels. I'll throw that half issue in there, and then it'll have all 4 single issues thrown in there. Any trading cards, stickers, whatever exists, I'll throw it all in there for that one price.
That is awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. And I've got the trading cards back here. I'll go ahead and get those out so people can see what they're what you talking about. So you got these stickers.
What's interesting too is you got the prototypes from me. So Luke's kind of got a different version of it. Luke Stone's got a different version of them for the U.S. fulfillment. But you have my original prototypes.
Oh yeah, because you sent this to me directly. That's right.
Yep.
So it'll be similar to this, but not quite this.
Right. Bit of an updated version. So yeah.
Let me get the cards out here. See, what is it? Adam? Is it Adam? Who's doing who's wanting to do the card set, like the masterpieces card set? Is it Adam Embry? The painter?
Yeah,
or is it Adam
right.
Miller?
Yeah, Adam Miller maybe.
Adam Miller. Yeah. Anyway, he was talking about those cards. I've got at least 4 binders that are literally like this thick. They're like, 3-4 inches thick binders of nothing but cards. Spider-Man cards, X-Men cards, Marvel Fleer Flare, the Upper Deck ones. I mean, I loved those damn cards. My dad and I would go to the comic shop and we would buy like a box, an unopened box, take it home, open up all the packs and see if we could get the whole set and all the chase cards. Usually we got the whole set with maybe 1 or 2 missing and maybe about 25% of the chase cards. So you still had to go back and like trade for and try to buy. Yeah, man. So I love cards. I love the fact that people make cards and of all the characters. They're fun, man. It harkens back to the heyday of collecting, like the fun of opening a card pack and seeing what you got. It's good shit. So yeah,
I remember those days as well. Getting my piece of bubble gum in each one of them, and you shove as many of those in your mouth until you couldn't chew anymore.
Oh god, yeah, and that gum was so horrible. I remember the Batman Returns cards had that gum, and it's just, yeah, it would turn into powder until it finally started sticking together. Ugh. Oh god, yeah. I don't necessarily miss the gum. I definitely miss the cards. The cards are great. And these cards turned out awesome, dude. They look good. Got a lot of good artwork for this project, so they work out well for cards, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Dude, this is a great book. Great campaign. I love the fact that you got, pages from issue 4 up here.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're on Fund My Comic and that you're part of the Arrow Comics thing. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best thing for you, dude.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
So.
I am so excited about this this new platform. Fund My Comic is doing great. I'm really proud of Luke Stone for the strides that he's making. Doing work for this this scene, man. Building a platform for other people to use and get away from the big corporate jackasses that obviously don't give a shit about whether or not they take money from people and not provide the services that they're supposed to.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He's got like 4 or 5 books on there already that, for all intents and purposes, they wouldn't have anywhere else to platform their book. Yeah. And, I mean, it's just a book. Buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Whatever happened to capitalism decides, right? Not.
Well, the free market always decides. At least it's supposed to. If you got a good book, you got a good story, you got a good product that people are looking for and that they want. You build that audience and get people to support what you're doing. That's the way it should be, regardless of who agrees with you or not. Yeah. If you can find a way to grow your audience and build that and sell your book to that audience, then ain't nobody should be able to say shit to you about it.
Exactly.
Pure and simple.
I mean, we always just wanted to live in a world where we could just debate and exchange ideas. And, words aren't violence. Thoughts aren't violence.
I mean, how are we supposed to learn from one another if ain't nobody willing to listen to anybody else?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Carrie says, I don't know about that, although I have to ask who is the bad influence. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, I like it. Very honest, very true, very true. And Dr. Ben says, "Oh, I'd forgotten that gum dissolving into a gritty mass of vomit." Yeah, it's the gum in it just gives up the ghost suddenly, and it's just like hobble. All right, man. Is there anything else you want to say about Soul Tack before we go ahead and wrap this one up?
No, other than just thank you so much for having me on, Luke. Thanks for giving me.
Oh, you are always welcome to come hang out, dude.
Yeah. The opportunity to share that. If anyone wants to get a hold of this, they can get to Fund My Comic, and there's some great deals out there. They can DM me, and I'll let them know everything they want to know. So thank you.
This is a great book, guys. You will not regret getting this book. Hit that link that's in the description. Go ahead and back this book on fundmycomic.com, exclusively on fundmycomic.com. And so I want to thank all of you guys in the chat for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome. And remember,
shop smart, shop S-Mart.